Dennis with City TV, and welcome to Inside Santa Barbara, Santa Barbara's only news magazine show. We bring you up to date on the city's most significant issues, projects, and events. Well, for most people, a normal workday starts with leaving your home and hopping in your car to get to work. But imagine what it would be like for your vehicle to be your home. Some people don't have to imagine that scenario because they live it every day. And in our top story, we tell you about a local program that helps these very people find a new beginning. During these unstable economic times, people have been devastated by experiences that have flipped their lives upside down. Many have lost their jobs, their homes, or both. But some are still financially able to afford one thing, and that is their car. Californians have long had a close relationship with their cars, but as the economy has soured, more and more people are using their vehicles as a last resort for a place to live. We're seeing these homeless havens spill out onto the streets and parking lots across the nation, including here in Santa Barbara.
I've been really ill for a long time, and my motorhome wasn't good enough to really heal myself, and then I had no place to park where I had to always be moving.
Until he was given a new beginning. The community-based nonprofit organization in Santa Barbara, New Beginnings, offered Tim O'Brien a place to park his motorhome through its RV Safe Parking program. Under the program, 63 spaces in select parking lots throughout Santa Barbara are available to those who meet the requirements.
We have a little card we place on people's windshields, and it says, "Looking for a safe place to park at night? Give us a call." And so we show them that. We give them those to put on people's windshields to encourage people to call us and participate in the program. We're finding people who are losing their housing, who are losing their jobs, and who end up in our lots. We now have about a 20-person waiting list, which is about as large as we've ever been.
16 parking lots in Santa Barbara have been designated under New Beginnings Safe Parking Program, including lots at churches and the county. Out of the 16 sites, 3 are city parking lots, the commuter lots at Castillo, Coda, and Cabrillo Streets. These lots are used during the day by commuters, but at night, those who live in their cars or recreation vehicles move in.
Well, I think the city has recognized that there is a serious problem with people living in vehicles and clogging neighborhoods and city streets. So we've had an excellent relationship with the parking and the street people.
But when the program began, there were some bumps in the road.
There were questions from some of the neighbors about how it was being run, because some of the RV parkers were not displaying their permits in a conspicuous way, so they weren't able to tell whether or not they were permitted parkers.
Some of them were concerned about the unsightliness of the program. So they would generate calls for service about maybe some litter and trash that was left behind. So we worked with New Beginnings to make sure that some of these complaints were addressed by New Beginnings, that it was brought to the attention of the RV dwellers, so they understood they also had a responsibility to maintain a safe and orderly parking site. So as we worked closely with New Beginnings, some of these issues were resolved.
Now the police department says that calls for service at these parking lots are rare. New Beginnings and Santa Barbara PD work together to make sure that these parking lots are safe for clients and neighbors.
And on occasion, when a homeless person fails to put their permit up, if a police officer comes on the lot, they're asked to leave because they're breaking the law.
New Beginnings staff continuously monitor and regularly check in with clients. Now a popular and successful self-sufficient program, there are 83 participants, and that list for those who would like to participate is growing. Before a permit is issued, though, people who are interested in the safe parking program are asked a series of questions.
How long have you been in town? And assuming you've been in town for quite a while, you're not just passing through or making use of us on a short-term basis, but actually have some kind of involvement in the community. And then I would talk with you about your vehicle and whether your vehicle is operational. I would ask you whether you have a current driver's license, whether you have current licenses and tags, and whether you have current insurance. All those 3 things are requirements in our program. If you don't have those things and we have the loan money available, we will loan you the money to help make you legal as far as our program is concerned. And then I would be talking to you about the rules that we have for our program. And we have a list of 14 of them.
Among those 14 rules, you must have a valid permit visible at all times. No alcohol or drugs. Any alcohol or drug use means immediate removal from the parking lot. No cooking outside the vehicle. No loud music. No visitors. Permits are only good for 3 weeks. After that, they must be renewed. Overnight parking is only allowed through the RV Safe Parking Program. For example, here at the Coda lot, they can only park between the hours of 7:30 p.m. and 6 a.m. What these people do during the day is their choice.
About half of our people work. The other half can be found at the beach or the library or in a city park. And for the most part, they're minding their own business. I think the important thing I would say about all this is that there are many different kinds of homeless people. I'm not going to sit here and say that all homeless people have been victims of our society. There are a few who are thieves and who are criminals. And there are a few who are alcoholics or drug addicts. There are many that are mentally ill. And there are others who have just had a bad turn. They are disabled. They're unable to work. They have given up on themselves and are down and out.
For those who are down and out, New Beginnings doesn't just give people a safe place to park. They also offer other services, like its life skills training program for low-income parents and their children, job placement, and permanent housing opportunities. Counseling is also available for anyone who needs it here at the New Beginnings Counseling Center. New Beginnings has what is called a sliding fee, in which each client pays only as much as they can afford. That can mean a counseling session for as little as $1. New Beginnings also works with other nonprofits.
We've developed a really nice collaborative where all of us meet, share ideas, and work together to try to solve the problems. So they keep us in touch as to what kinds of facilities are available to place people into housing. We work very closely with the 10-year plan, with the City Housing Authority, in order to transition people into housing.
New Beginnings would like to keep the wheels of the RV Safe Parking Program turning, especially right now when the demand for their services is high, but uncertainty keeps their fears real.
We're anticipating that this recession may last for quite some time, and we're kind of bracing for the worst. We get funding from the city, we get funding from foundations, we get funding from individuals, and all those people have been impacted by this economic downturn.
With funding drying up, New Beginnings hopes that the community will remember the success stories from those who parked and then picked up the pieces of their lives, like Tim O'Brien, whose 7 months of being in the parking program gave him a chance to get back in the driver's seat of life.
Where I received my own house with the help of them. Safe parking gave me a shot at getting my health back, and then with the help of New Beginnings standing up for me, it didn't take long, and now I'm living in a nice apartment, and everything is going very well for me.
The RV parking program provides more than a place to stop. For many, it's a place to start, a place that allows someone who's down on their luck a chance to live with dignity and maybe to embark on a new road and a new beginning. Over 40% of New Beginnings' operating budget comes from donations, and if you would like to donate and help them continue these services, call the New Beginnings Counseling Center at 963-7777. Well, most employers these days want to incorporate green practices into their businesses. The question becomes how. Up next, Channel 18's Dominique Blocker tells us about a local program that answers that very question.
On a cold and rainy morning last month, there was a bright spot in the city. Local politicians and business people gathered to celebrate some environmental shining stars.
To be able to have this event, have so many local business people, local officials come and support us, it's just really validates what we're doing.
What they're doing is encouraging businesses to protect, preserve, and improve the environment. The Green Business Program aims to recognize, through a certification process, businesses that go above and beyond existing requirements to serve as models of sustainability. The program is voluntary, but that doesn't mean that businesses are all on their own.
As a new business owner, I really wanted to, see what could be done about being an environmentally responsible business owner. I didn't really know how to go about doing that. That's what I needed, was the structure of the program to kind of take it to the next level as a business owner.
Having a program that's dedicated to giving businesses resources to be able to accomplish these things and to offer different people for them to talk to and different ways to go about doing things, not having something be so stagnant that it's not malleable for each different business.
Many of those different businesses were represented at the launch. From the newly certified Isla Vista Food Co-op to Mission Linen Supply, the types of businesses the program hopes to serve runs the gamut.
Right now we're working with 4 industry types. It's office retail, which covers a really wide range. Then we also have automotive, so we're looking at auto body shops. We have the lodging industry that we're working with, and then we also have restaurants. We have plans in the future to work with schools, to work with medical offices, to work with wineries, landscapers. We want to be able to make this program work for all the different businesses that are in the community. Anybody who wants to do this, we want to be able to work with.
The willingness to work with that wide range of businesses, along with the interest generated at the launch, has encouraged a variety of business owners to get involved.
I do what I can now, but there's always more to know, and with a business, there's more impact. You produce more and buy more, so I just sort of wanted to see what I could do to participate with the community. I figure there's always more that I can learn and more I can do.
Attendees at the event got a chance to be inspired to do more by sustainability superstar William Hayward, whose company has been walking the green walk for years.
I really believe in the heart of sustainability, but there's a lot of compelling economic arguments to do it. There's as much profit opportunity as there's opportunity to do really good things. And together, that's what makes sustainability. And I think as business leaders learn to wrap their minds around the opportunity, they learn to lead and make a true difference in the way our economy interacts with the environment.
By doing little things like recycling, conserving water, choosing energy-efficient appliances, and environmentally friendly purchasing options, local businesses can make a big impact.
Just one place makes the decision, but if you put a bunch of people together in an organization, hopefully that makes a big difference overall.
I hope what they think when they see that sticker is, here's a business that's doing the right thing. Here's the business who's decided to go the extra step, go the extra mile. The consumer will have a level of confidence when they go into a business, and they'll just know beyond a doubt that this business has completed this process. They're really doing what they say they're doing, and they're doing it to the benefit of the whole community.
Now that the program has officially launched and the first certifications were handed out to local businesses, the Green Business Program of Santa Barbara County is ready and able to promote sustainability in local businesses, help build a healthier community, and foster a positive impact on the environment.
This is a great opportunity to distinguish yourself above the crowd, to save some money, to do the right thing, to be part of a really great movement in our community, to be part of a partnership.
I think this program has a tremendous impact on Santa Barbara County because it's a way to recognize the businesses that are green. And what I've learned is that businesses that take the mental time to think through how to be green usually are a higher quality operation, they do a better job, they care more, they care about the environment, they care more about their customers. They tend to be better people to do business with.
To know that we actually have a certification, we've taken the time to actually go through a program and achieve this, I think really speaks highly of our business practices and what kind of business we really are.
With this new program, business owners have the tools they need to be that kind of business, to make sure the resource-rich place we call home and the world is just as abundant for generations to come.
It's great today to recognize leaders in sustainability and to encourage more and more people to get on board and make a difference for the planet.
Well, I think it only makes sense to want to be a participant in the program, get something to benefit the community. It's a no-brainer.
For more information, visit greenbizsbc.org. Well, the tea fire may long be gone, but now the rainy season is causing other concerns. From the fire to the rain to the water, Van 2 shows us the cycle of the tea fire's aftermath and its effects on our local creeks.
For those of us not directly affected by it, the tea fire may seem like a distant memory. But in addition to the initial devastation, the tea fire left in its path a host of other potential problems, like flooding, mudslides, and degraded water quality. Watersheds act as a direct link between the top of the hills and the ocean. So that means when it rains, debris and silt from the 2,000-acre tea fire burn area have one place to go: Sycamore Creek. The City Creeks Division is paying close attention to the Sycamore watershed and is taking steps to make sure the creeks and beaches below are as healthy and clean as possible.
The tea fire burned a large portion of the upper watershed in Sycamore Creek. I think it was about 67% of the upper watershed. And so we're here today looking at where we can see some of the sediment that was brought off of those hillsides and deposited here on the creek bank.
What we found were dark black layers of silt blanketing the creek bottom and banks. Much of this silt contains debris and harmful elements from the fire.
It was a pretty small storm that came right after the fire, and everybody was very nervous because the rain came within days of the fire. And we found that there were higher metal concentrations in runoff from the tea fire area than the Mission Canyon area.
Sediment from the tea fire will probably stay in this creek for a year, if not more. This reminds us that water quality awareness is a concern year-round.
And Santa Barbara residents can take action. For example, creekside property owners throughout Santa Barbara now have a special opportunity to help improve water quality through an innovative tree planting program.
The idea behind the Creek Tree Program is to for the city's Creeks Division to assist private landowners with planting native trees along the creek banks. Its benefits are, one, is that it improves the aesthetics of their side or their backyards because they have some nice native trees. Trees have been shown to improve property value as long as they're not just, they're planted far enough away from their house. It's a nice way to be able to contribute and help out with the city's overall goal to get the habitat better along the creek and just make our creeks look more like creeks rather than just flood control channels. All the cost for the first $1,000 is free to the public. So as long as you live along a creek and you're interested in helping to improve the habitat and maybe the aesthetics and would like some native trees planted, you're welcome to fill out an application and we'll visit your site.
Businesses can also take part in improving water quality through the city's Clean Water Business Program.
We try to focus on the businesses that have the most potential to impact or pollute water quality in their day-to-day activities. And so we have a checklist that we go over with them. And each checklist is different to, focus in on the individual business. And it talks about how their day-to-day activities could potentially impact water quality.
In addition to learning how to manage wastewater, businesses also benefit from free advertising and may be eligible for $1,000 for equipment necessary to become certified.
They get a big certificate that's signed by the mayor. There's also a sticker that we give them that they can put in their window that, demonstrates to everybody who comes into their business that they're taking responsibility for their pollution and they know how to manage their dirty wash water and their chemicals.
Brent Wallingford and Steve Bassia own Santa Barbara Pressure Wash, one of the companies recently recognized by the city as a clean water business.
The process, it was fairly simple. I think that, they just want to get the word out and they want people to be certified to keep people from just coming in and polluting our creeks. We were both raised here and played in creeks when we were kids, so we want to see the creeks continue to be a place where we can take our kids.
The tea fire's impact on water quality will be felt for months, but through programs like the Creek Tree and Clean Water Business Programs, the Creeks Division hopes to minimize the adverse impacts while improving the vitality of Santa Barbara's creeks for years to come.
All of us can work to improve water quality in our watersheds, and we should all be trying to keep pollutants and sediment out of the gutters and out of the storm drains that get into the creeks.
For more information on the Creeks programs, visit our website, citytv18.com, and click on Inside Santa Barbara. Well, after 50 years of planning, the Lower Mission Creek Flood Control Project has finally broken ground. And up next, Van 2 shows us the complexity of this long-anticipated project.
The Lower Mission Creek project area is 1.3 miles of creek between Cabrillo Boulevard and Cannon Perdido, impacted by urban development. Most of the year, the lower creek trickles runoff from 7,200 acres of watershed above it. But when it rains heavily, that trickle turns to torrent, and historically, that has meant trouble for the surrounding businesses and homes. The area is prone to flooding. In 1995, El Niño storms caused millions in flood damage. Floods also drenched lower parts of the city in 1998 and 2005. To prevent catastrophic damage, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Santa Barbara County Flood Control District, and the City of Santa Barbara joined forces in the Lower Mission Creek Flood Control Project.
The overall Mission Creek project has a capacity improvement from 1,500 cubic feet per second to 3,400 cubic feet per second. The bottleneck in the system is right here on Montecito Street. It's the Montecito Street Bridge. It has a 1,500 cubic feet per second capacity. So what the culvert's going to do is approximately carry the remaining capacity, which is about 1,900 cubic feet per second.
To achieve this, the project will combine a series of bridge replacements and channel improvements.
Over the years, we've tried to incorporate more and more creek restoration and water quality improvement aspects. And so as part of the project design, we have incorporated habitat improvements for wildlife, including some endangered species like the Southern California steelhead. We've also added elements of landscaping with native trees to provide shade and cooling and other native plants.
Due to the time, cost, and complexity of the project, a multi-phase approach was implemented. The project broke ground with the installation of these culverts under the Union Pacific Railroad, a critical first step that involved closing the tracks.
And the railroad is a very technical operation. They don't like to shut their rails down for long periods of time. It costs a lot of money when the rail service is out. It has to involve coordination with Amtrak because we got an extensive passenger train service that goes through Santa Barbara. So all of this has to be done, and there are only certain windows that happen. So in this particular case, the UP Railroad, who was really a tremendous partner with us, identified a window that they could close the rails down.
And we were allowed a 60-hour window where they would actually do the work continuously nonstop.
After the last train rolled through, the clock started ticking. In 60 hours, crews had to first physically cut 200 feet of the tracks and move them out of the way, then excavate 13 feet below grade before they could install 30 massive 47-ton concrete box culverts underground, totaling over 1,200 tons and measuring about 85 feet long.
Well, the funding for the culvert project is from local fundings, the flood control, local revenues, taxes, and benefit assessments. And that is money that's collected locally and funded 100% of this project. The balance of the project is expected to be funded with a combination of city, federal, and maybe even state fundings along with local money. But this particular was 100% county flood control funded. The net result is the Mission Creek project's now under construction. Perhaps the most critical element of the whole project is now built, and so now that will help us petition the federal government for additional money to continue the construction.
You know, in the grand perspective of things, the amount of flood protection that this will give the city is a cost savings to the citizens of the city. If a flood happens, the amount of damage that can occur can be tens of millions of dollars. And when you look at the project's cost overall, from Cannon Perdido all the way down to the beach, is somewhere in the range of $50 to $60 million, and over time, it will pay for itself.
And you can check on the status of this project by visiting lowermissioncreek.org. Well, in our last two segments, we've taken you to Sycamore Creek and Lower Mission Creek. Up next, we talk to the people who help the city with programs that focus on water quality improvements and creek restoration.
When it comes to water quality and the health of Santa Barbara's creeks, The Creeks Advisory Committee is where City Council turns to get information and tap into the concerns of the community. Both the committee and the Creeks Division were established as a result of the passage of Measure B in 2000. The intent of Measure B is to improve creek and ocean water quality and restore natural creek systems.
From a day-to-day standpoint, we really serve as a community input forum as community members to provide direction and goals and strategies for the services and projects that they're putting together.
The main functions of the Creeks Advisory Committee are to oversee the Creeks Division programs, and that includes our capital projects as well as education programs, and to advise the City Council on those projects and programs.
To see the handiwork of the Creeks Advisory Committee, you don't have to travel far.
There's projects happening all over the city. We have ongoing programs that are going that involve monitoring, that involve education and outreach, and then we run the gamut all the way up to where you look at something behind us where it's actually something on the ground and physically there.
You can go down to the parking lot by Henry's Beach at Cliff Drive in Las Positas to see some of the lovely restorations. A couple of blocks from Trader Joe's on Milpas, volunteers actually created a bioswale so that polluted runoff water didn't go directly into the ocean. An area along Laguna Creek that used to get polluted by people in difficult circumstances is now gated and fenced off, and the water quality levels there have begun to visibly improve. So I think we're making progress in almost every watershed in the city.
Another issue of concern is non-point source pollution, better known as urban runoff. Urban runoff is currently the largest source of water pollution in the city.
A lot of people don't know that if they put something in a storm sewer or into a creek, it does not go through the sanitation plant and get filtered out. It goes directly down to the beach and into the ocean.
So a big component of improving water quality in the creeks and the beaches is to educate the community about things that everyone can do to be part of the solution to urban runoff pollution. And so we have a significant outreach and education effort, and the committee is currently involved with an update of our public education plan.
With such a wide variety of projects that affect every part of the city, citizen input is crucial.
I think it's really critical for a program like this to have some citizen involvement and oversight at a very involved level.
Over the years, a heavy emphasis on outreach has resulted in tremendous volunteerism and a greater sense of investment in creeks by the community.
It is so impressive, the number of volunteers from local businesses, from local schools, from clubs, from at-risk youth, from neighborhoods, from environmental groups, that when we do a creek cleanup day, all come together.
The Creeks Advisory Committee relies on helping hands. However, the group also needs innovative thinkers.
I think what it just takes is a realization that there's an opportunity to help make a change in a positive manner, and that you have some type of connection. Either you have children that go in the water, or you're concerned about drinking water, or you feel that habitat is being erased.
I want people to understand that they not only have a dedicated community committee, which I serve, watching the money, but they have as dedicated a professional as staff watching every penny as anyone could possibly hope for.
The Creeks Advisory Committee has been serving the city since the year 2000. Well, that does it for this month's episode of Inside Santa Barbara. If you have any questions or comments about our show, give us a call at City TV at 564-5311. You can also watch the show online at citytv18.com. I'm your host, Rachel Asenas, and remember to get involved inside Santa Barbara.